You are the manager of an electronics store. Early in the holiday selling season, you found proof that your best salesperson just knowingly sold a television with cosmetic damage to a customer as new, violating company policy. On multiple occasions in the past, you've disciplined the salesperson for similar issues, and according to your company's graduated corrective action program, the next step should be termination. You know that if you fire this individual, it will incur more work on the entire team, including yourself. You also know that customer service and sales overall will suffer. When most people hear a scenario like this, they immediately begin trying to formulate how they would handle the situation. Whether they know it or not, they are immediately applying their own values to the scenario. This is the everyday ethical dilemma. After viewing this video, you will be able to explain how and why you would use the classroom assessment technique everyday ethical dilemma. As you have already experienced, when an ethical dilemma is posed, your values immediately go to work. Most people will begin to form opinions right away. The purpose behind the everyday ethical dilemma is to help learners connect their personal values to the content being delivered in the class. In a corporate environment, this can also extend to connecting the participants' values to the company's documented values. The major limitation of this strategy is the controversy which can arise when attempting to draw out individuals' personal values. This is risky in that there will likely be learners who prefer not to share their values in a public forum, and occasionally the instructor may discover that their learners have some unexpected values, damaging the relationship between the learner and the instructor. There is also the risk of what Brookfield terms as lost innocence. Many learners, especially early in their exposure to higher education, are looking for the truth. They expect their teachers to be able to provide answers in black and white. Many are taken aback when they are told by their instructors that there is no correct answer or that the answer is colored in shades of gray. In the most extreme cases, this can even lead to the learner dropping out of the program. This is not a reason to avoid such discussions, but the instructor must maintain a heightened awareness in such situations. The main reason to use this strategy is to increase the learner's awareness of and ability to use their values and ethics to make difficult decisions. This provides practice of a skill which they will need to use both in their personal and professional lives. Learners will benefit from a well-facilitated discussion of their personal values and interpretation of situations. These discussions have the potential to be the most memorable and impactful components to their learning. I would suggest 3 best practices for the use of this strategy. First, you might consider starting with a relatively minor dilemma in order to build comfort with the process and strengthen the learning environment before pushing the learners further with more challenging dilemmas. Second, decide with intent whether to keep the answers anonymous. Anonymity may allow for more honest answers, but does not give you the ability to give constructive feedback or to debrief answers by grouping learners with common responses. Third, ensure there is a clear alignment between the learning objectives or outcomes of the course and this assessment technique. If the learners are unable to make this connection, some may feel the discussion is a waste of time. Providing feedback to the learners in this assessment technique has the potential to be tricky. Much will rely on whether you decide to keep the answers anonymous or not. If the answers are anonymous, the only feedback you can provide is through a group debrief of the dilemma. When I lead this activity in my classroom, I will follow the advice to build up to the more controversial topics. I will select a simpler issue similar to the one I used in the introduction as something to warm the learners up to the process. As they get more comfortable and the learning environment strengthens, I will select increasingly challenging dilemmas. The first dilemma will be a strictly anonymous activity followed by a group debrief. Following this, I will ask the learners to identify themselves on their answers. Their answers will not be for grades, but I will provide written feedback. I intend to simply ask questions that may test the learners' assumptions about the subject. To wrap up, the everyday ethical dilemma is a potentially powerful tool to understand the thinking of your learners and assist them in clarifying their values. It should, however, be used with some caution. Ensure the learning environment is strongly in place before venturing into highly controversial subjects, and work hard to ensure that any discussion or feedback, both from yourself as the instructor and from the learner's peers, remains thoughtful and respectful. Thank you for watching.